Yeah, hi guys. I'm going to go through some trades from last week and what we're going to do this week. And we're going to look at the other indexes and try to see um, a few things. Um, so I'm just going to start on crypto just to simplify everything. Um, we know that there, you know, we're trying to look at these levels back here, recognizing that there's always buyers and always sellers. Who is winning and who is losing? Um, in this chart here, we can't see back over there, right, to the left further, but we don't need to. But just for the purpose of this, we'll try to. It's too far, so we're not going to bother with that. We're just going to use the moving average, the balanced one, the 4,000, to tell us where the buyers and where the sellers were. So there would have been back here, right? Lined up with price all the way back here, basically. There's sellers there and there's buyers. Who is winning? Well, the buyers. Okay, the moving average tells us that. So we don't even need to go back and look at the exact point. That's the cool thing about this. Um, so what we can do here, and remember we do this, draw our line here to anticipate the general direction of price to follow collectively. So now we've got one that is saying the weight is up. Then we go again here, we've got two, weight is up. And then we have to add that all up relative to the rest of them. And if there's more up than down, then we know that the weight is up. Okay. During this time here, you would have recognized that this moved below the moving average here, that this entire situation here, where this, right, is a psyop, because these two are telling you the weight is more up. So the buyers back here are long and happy. The buyers back here are long and happy. The buyers back here, okay, are long and happy, right? But you would be selling here because it's the weight is down if you were just looking at Zcash. So the sellers here are holding the bag, right? Essentially, the buyers are winning. They got 2 times profitable trades versus 1 negative trade. Eventually, these guys are going to have to throw in the towel and simply liquidate the positions. So that's what happens there. So that we've written here, buyers will need to liquidate. Sorry, I mean to write sellers. Not sure why I've written buyers. I'm sorry about this. Okay. It's that obvious here, just with the moving averages. You don't even need to go back to price to see this. Let's move over with another chart. And it's the same deal back to where we can see, because we've got a little bit of a shorter chart here view, because the other screen on these ones is not as big as this screen, the main one I show you. So here we know we've got 2 up versus 1 down. Here we've got 3 up, right? Now the weight is up, so that's 3 versus 1. Okay, up. 4, same deal here. Okay, so the buyers back here are profitable. Now they collectively buy the entire group. Okay, that's how we have to view this. It's a relationship between all of them. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 up, 1 down. this second. This here is obvious. Okay, well, we'll get to that. We've got this guy here, LTC, same deal. Okay, during this period of time that we can see with our eyes, the buyers are profitable. And it's so easy to do it with crypto because everything is starting crypto first, then USD second. You don't have to flip anything like we do with the Swiss. So the weight is up. So any move down we have to treat as a false hope move. The sellers are going to have to throw in the towel. They're just going to give up. There's no way that they can hold this position. So this will have to pop. Now we'll go to the currencies and we'll look at those because they are where it gets slightly more complicated. And we'll look at the New Zealand that we did last week with the yen. Here's the yen. Doing it this way, we can even we can keep the charts cleaner as well. We don't even need to necessarily put in the price because we'll always know where they are just by looking at those moving averages, as we've already established that they give you a more fixed, more accurate count on price over time because they're a machine drawing a trend line across current price. We can't do that ourselves on all of them because we just simply don't. It would be a 24-hour job. So we can use these tools to help us. All right. So and it doesn't matter on these. You can all time frames. It will give you the same deal. That's the beauty of this. And we're going to try to figure out some things here today. And perhaps the New Zealand will tell us. Alright, so this looks good. We want to look at go back to Tuesday, but let's just have a quick look here. Obviously, the weight collectively is up. Doesn't matter where we look back to, we know that the moving average is going up. There's buyers back there that are profitable. There's buyers back there that are profitable, etc., etc. And this is an old one, and clearly dollar is trying to follow that back where it broke down last week. So look, fake, what's this say here? Fake drop as LFX was up. USD was down though. Okay, USD was down though. So it's always a question, what's going to break? Is the USD real? Is the yen? Is the other one more powerful? With the crypto, it doesn't really matter. All right, so we got one up, two up. Okay. Remember, the LFX is just going to give us an average of what we see collectively on the rest of them. It is telling us, the average is telling us it's up. So we don't even need to go through the currencies to look. We will, just to verify. Okay. The average is up. The buyers back there are profitable, more profitable than the sellers, you see. Right. Here, the buyers are more profitable than the sellers. However, if we looked at this here, we'd think that the sellers are winning. But really, relative to the rest of the currencies, because we agreed to use this balance moving average, the 4,000, the maximum one, 4,000 moving average, it's going to give us the same perspective because we're scaling ourselves into the same fixed mathematical equation, which will scale our chart at that time. Um, so they're essentially, they've let the cat out of the bag. I would imagine euro to have to bounce up, but it would be better at a lower price. So that's anyway, that's one way. Um, if we just use the moving average, right, nothing else, we're not going to use what we just said, like our speculation and all that stuff. No, we're just going to use the moving average. Okay, it says up. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 6 are up, and if you want to include the LFX, then it's 7. Um, which means so six guys are profitable currently, and this and only one profitable in the other direction. These New Zealand guys will have to liquidate, so we will be buying one New Zealand just based on an LFX or a yen view. Okay. Remember, this is all demo. Don't go ahead and do all this. We are literally trying to finish this game shortly. Here's the New Zealand move. If we were here, surviving buyers holding the bag. We wrote there. Um, sellers still in profit. So let's look at this 15 minutes. Yeah, we were here, okay, and we went all in buys, um, and we've got this up, okay. Just look at the moving averages. Look. Now up to this day, which is here. So it's 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, about 4 days ago. Okay. So 4 days ago we knew that what? Just looking at the moving average, we have Aussie is down. Okay, so that's one down. So you wouldn't want to be buying if you were just looking at the Aussie. Right? It's down. Okay. Let's go to the four. Let's do this accurately. Sorry, we would have been here. Okay, here. Right, so it's up from there to there. So the weight is up one, weight is down. So that balances that out. Now you've got basically a chop. If you were just to look at these two here, Swiss versus Aussie versus yen. New Zealand at that time, it's down. So you're thinking it's down, right? The weight is down for all of these here. So at no point here would you be considering a buy trade, even though you saw this. Same deal, 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Draw it from here, 4, whatever here. It's up, the weight is up. Okay, plus if you wanted to look back here, but remember we're trying to see the same time frame that we're seeing on all the other charts. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. So we'll draw it from about here, and that would be up. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 2 up. Uh, 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Okay, we were here. We're looking back, we would see a down USD average there, so we're not going to include that. Let's pull these over here. Don't worry, we'll go back and add them up again once we've drawn this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the New Zealand and see what the deal was then. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Look back here. Up. Okay, 1. Up. So on this day we've got 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, okay, 1 down. So now we can consider that 3 up. Okay, 4 up. Okay, now 1 down. So that's now 4 up and another 1 down. That's now 3 up. So now let's use the LFX to tell us what that average equals, because if we look at the Swiss, it's up massively, so that's giving us extra juice. And if the LFX during that time its weight is up, it's then giving us the answer, the reflection of what we're seeing. So we know in that case that on this day at that time, with that moving average being up, given everything what we've just said, the New Zealand sellers will need to liquidate, and that's what happened. So, but then in the back of our mind, we're wondering, okay, what about the New Zealand? Do we need to look at that as well? Well, let's just do that and answer that in this video now. Okay, sorry, I know this video is kind of long, but we have to go through this, because it's always in the back of our mind. Well, what if we didn't check New Zealand? What, no, we have to look at New Zealand. They're giving us the tools for everything. We have to do this correctly. And then we will try to make some rules that are kind of dynamic, that we can then have a structure to follow, like a checklist of things to check off. And if we have all of that, then we're going to be happy, I think. Overall, we'll just put all these the same here. Okay. Just moving this now. Alright, let's just put the... Sorry. I'll pause it here and I'll come back. Hang on. Alright guys, I'm back. So I just adjusted everything so we can see it all from the same perspective as we were looking at. Relative to the yens, we'll go back 4 days, which is where we agreed this scenario was. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right? During that time, if we go back to where we can see, we can go all the way, but we're just going to do it for the purpose of this video to here, back 4 days. Okay. The moving average is down on the LFX. Okay, so right away, we roughly have a bias, but we want to verify by checking them to see why it's giving us that reflection at that time. mark it off. This is the fourth day when we were looking at that. So even though the New Zealand was bearish weight-wise, just by looking at the New Zealand here, they were still able to use that in the yen to make its pullback. Okay, because there's always going to be a pullback. There's no price doesn't go in straight lines, and it did a pullback, against everything by the looks of it. At that time, this one, New Zealand versus the dollar, would have been, kind of like sideways chop. So we're open-minded right here. We know with the CAD it's down, which can give us a clue because we know that it's likely that dollar will want to follow the CAD as they compete. So it did. In fact, it did do that, right? So we could have used the CAD's advantage here, information here, to give us a short on the New Zealand dollar on that day. Okay. We also knew that the dollar yen was expected to jump up on that day, which gave us this excuse for this sell. That's how we could have found that trade. I think that makes sense. Some of the guys, what's encouraging is some of the people in the room are seeing the same phenomenons and marking them down and sending them to me at the same time as I'm seeing them. So it's encouraging that we're starting to see the same thing, and we're going to crack this very soon. So let's keep going on here. So where are we at? Well, we're at just CAD being down. That's all we know. Plus the New Zealand index is telling us a little bit more. The yen's one, two, three, four. Back to where we can see. By the looks of it, it's down. Back to where we can see. Okay. By the looks of it, it's down, which is telling us so far why the New Zealand index is saying down. All right. Now this can be our checklist of what to do. We've got to check both, and then we'll know better. Now we have to go the other way, obviously, pound, because pound starts before New Zealand. We can mirror these if we want, but the problem with doing that is it doesn't put the moving averages in the correct way. They're backwards, if that makes sense. So this was the fourth day. Okay. The weight is down, essentially, because we reverse these, right? So even though it's up, but this is New Zealand pound, we need to be reading that as. All right. Same deal here. Aussie New Zealand would have been down, so New Zealand is stronger. So that's an opposite of what we're seeing here in pound. However, Euro New Zealand was up to counter. All right, so that's perfect. So we got 1, 1, so that evens that out. Forget it. Right, now we'll go again. 1, okay, weight is up. Okay, weight is down on this, so it's 2. It's middle, so chop, so we're still at 2. The index is saying down, So our bias is down. We got 2. We're good so far. New Zealand yen down. That's 3. And then Swiss, that's 4. So the bulk, the weight is suggesting down. So even though it was saying down, we still were allowed to buy against that yen. It still is giving us opportunities, but we want to be looking to be sellers on something else, like sellers on New Zealand versus CAD, if the CAD weight was truly up, let's say. But yeah, anyway, that's what I figured I'd show you guys. Let's quickly do the yens, and we'll try to see if we're correct with this pound trade that we're doing now. In fact, we'll go straight to the pound. All right, I've just quickly gone ahead and done it for the purpose of speeding this up. We're here today. We've observed this pound yen situation. Looks to be as if they're going to have to make it rise. So the pound index is up. If in doubt, just look at the pound index. It's up. Okay, so we got 1 up. Okay, we got 2 up. Okay, we got 3 up. Got this one is sideways. Euro is sideways. So 3 up still. Four up. 5 up. And then Swiss is down. Pound Swiss is down. So 5 up, 4 up in total. Which and the distance is what, which is what is so important. This pound New Zealand is massive. Even though this pound Swiss is massive down, it's still collectively the reflection, with taking everything else into account, is an up weight. So we do want to be buying pound yen, even though and it's in line with the weight of the LFX. So this is a yes, okay, for me. It's a yes. So let's go back to the yens, okay, and we'll verify everything. All right, so we put the line here as this is where it's observed. We look back and we see the weight is up. Okay, back. We got 1. Clearly, look, this CAD is up. That's there. We don't even need to draw it. So that's 1. From here to here, that's sideways. Okay, dollar. So we're just 1 up so far. Here to here, it's clearly up. Okay, the buyers are profiting. The sellers, if there's any sellers sitting, they're going to have to let go. Okay, it's that simple. Where are the sellers? Well, let's try to find them. We're going to try to find the profitable sellers who are going to need to liquidate their positions. That's all we're looking for. Okay, so 1 up, 2 up, 3 up, sideways, 4 up. Okay. 5. Sorry. Okay, we've observed this on this day. That's why we're drawing this line. 1. This is sideways. Okay. We look back. This is down. Okay, Aussie yen is down on this. This is sideways. All right. And the Swiss is up, but the Swiss is so strong. It's giving us that strength here in the LFX. Now let's add them all up again quickly. 1, even, even. 2, even. 3, 4. So I never said down, I only said even, even, and the rest are up, basically. So the weight is up. We want to be looking at buying pound yen. Why is it so ridiculous here? Because we're trying to do it on a 1-minute chart. From and people will just think that this is a rally-based rally from a 15-minute perspective. So you've got, if you look here, you've got euro going up while pound is going sideways. So there's sellers in that pound. Okay, you've got LFX going up while pound was sideways, CAD going up, and really at this point the dollar's going up. Those buyers are now profitable in the dollar. The buyers are not profitable in the pound, but we know the pound index weight is up. So they're profitable in the Swiss. They're the buyers from here. Well, you know, we have to go back in price. It's here. They're up. The sellers are done, and the buyers and sellers are even here. New Zealand a little bit more profitable on the sell side. All right, we'll go on the 1 minute and we'll look here. And then this will tell us where our target's going to be as well. We know that the LFX has followed its trend line here. So I think I'm going to go with the pound target being like there. If the average has met the trend line, which is here, we can see in the pound, and obviously the euro, look there, see the same thing in the euro. It's actually above the trend line, so it's priced there. While the LFX, the average, has hit the top, pound has still yet to hit the top. So we can put a target here, guys. This is how we're going to play this game. Right there. And in time, that can be dynamic. So by visually seeing it, it would maybe be in a couple of days, I guess, if we make it there. It might just hit it here and then reject, but it may just go here. Okay, so we have to be open-minded with our target. What do we mean by that? Well, again, we'll put it in the middle because we have to sleep and we don't know what's going on. So we'll go in the middle from what we can see. We're not going to be greedy and go up there. We're going to go here. All right, guys, that's the video. Peace.